They wanted any intelligence that could have smeared the campaign. Yes, there is this general remit. So had I, through my circles, come up with something along the lines of the family were political activists, somebody in the family was involved in demonstrations, drug dealers, anything. What they would have done with intelligence, I can't call it, but that is our remit, not just for them, that is always our remit when we're out there.
My colleague Rob Evans and I have been investigating undercover policing for 2.5 years. It's a story of 2 secret units and how they've used sex, lies and smear tactics against political activists. The story began in 2011 when activists revealed how police officer Mark Kennedy had spent 7 years spying on them. He had long-term sexual relationships with several women. Since then, we've established the identities of more undercover police. Bob Lambert, undercover in the 1980s, fathered a child with a woman he was spying on. John Dines, Mike Chitty, Mark Jenner, Jim Boyling, Marco Jacobs, and Lynn Watson, the only known woman police spy. All of them are accused of having sexual relationships with activists. But the story doesn't end there. Earlier this year, we revealed how undercover police have been adopting the identities of dead children. One source of that revelation was a whistleblower. He told us that he and fellow undercover police officers had used the identities to create false aliases. He worked for the Special Demonstration Squad, a secret unit. Posing as an anti-racist campaigner, he lived undercover for 4 years in the mid-1990s. Speaking using his alter ego, Pete Black, he's been a confidential source. Now, he's decided to speak out.
I personally have stepped out of the shadows, come forward basically to call for a full public, bordering on a judicial inquiry, either inquiry, to look into what the SDS has been doing from 1968 until its closure in 2008.
The murder of Stephen Lawrence in 1993 was a watershed moment in British policing. The Metropolitan Police came under intense scrutiny. Francis was told to monitor the political campaigns surrounding Lawrence's death. Did you ever pick up anything about family members that you then passed back?
Yeah, there was rumours and conjecture that the family itself may have not been sort of a loving, caring home that was passed on about the family that could have been used, may have been used if they were really desperate to try to smear the family.
Francis was also asked to comment on intelligence that was coming directly from the Lawrence family home.
The family liaison officer who was in the Stephen Lawrence's house was taking all the details of all the family members who were there, all the visitors who actually gave their details. Some would have refused to give them their details. This then was passed to the area special branch. The area special branch then passed it through the special branch to the Special Demonstration Squad, and we were asked to comment on these individuals, whether or not, in their words, they were politicos or who they were. The purpose was for us to be able to formulate intelligence on who was going in the house with regards to which part of the political spectrum, if at any, they were actually in.
So they wanted you and the other SDS officers to give them information about the political persuasion of the individuals who are visiting the family's home.
100%, because that would then allow us to make the assessment which way this campaign was likely to go in the public disorder arena.
There is no suggestion the family liaison officers knew how the information would be used. Why did you think the family liaison officers wanted the names of people visiting your house?
We weren't linked to any political groups. We weren't linked to any of them. So at the time, we would have had no idea as to the reason why they were asking the question and why they were suspicious of anybody who was in our house. Political groups, no, nothing can justify the whole thing about trying to discredit the family and people around us.
When he was undercover, Francis met Stephen Lawrence's close friend, Dwayne Brooks. He was also the main witness to the murder. Francis says he took part in an effort to discredit Brooks. He was asked to find footage of Brooks at a violent demonstration.
Myself and another STS officer went through the material we had, the media we had, and between us we'd identified him participating in some criminality, perceived criminality. This then was sent through the same chain of command, Special Branch DI, DCI, out to division again, and the decision was obviously made to go and arrest Dwayne for said offences.
Did they seem pleased that you'd found out?
Yes, they did seem pleased that we'd found out. I think also it provided probably the first in ever in the Stephen Lawrence campaign. This is a clear whiter than white campaign, can't be tarnished, the public's all behind it. All of a sudden Stephen Lawrence's friend was actually a violent activist.
A month after Francis found the footage locating Brooks at the protest, the teenager was charged. A judge later threw out the case, saying it was an abusive process.
Out of all the things I've found out over the years, this certainly has topped it. I suppose it just makes me really, really angry that all of this has been going on and all the time trying to undermine us as a family. Quite shocked.
The Metropolitan Police said in a statement it recognises the seriousness of the allegations of inappropriate behaviour and practices involving past undercover deployments. The claims in relation to Stephen Lawrence's family will bring particular upset to them, and we share their concerns. The force said it was conducting a thorough review and investigation into these matters. Operation Hearn is a live investigation, 4 strands of which are being supervised by the Independent Police Complaints Commission, and it would be inappropriate to prejudge its findings. At some point it will fall upon this generation of police leaders to account for the activities of our predecessors, but for the moment we must focus on getting to the truth.